Well, good morning, everybody. Just wanted to tag on to something that we talked about last Sunday regarding, we've been talking about spiritual warfare for a little while now on Sundays, and talking about the most important and perhaps most difficult battlefield, and that is the battlefield of self, overcoming our flesh, conquering our own human desires. You can't pray that off of somebody. You can't pray that out of somebody. I mean, we are what we are. We're human beings. Jesus said that the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh, the carnal mind, the human secular mind is weak invariably. And so we've been talking about that. But this past Sunday, we really talked about how we need grit in our lives. Like, we need to be able to get a whole lot of I won't turn back attitude in ourselves, because we are going to face challenges, we're going to face trials, we're going to face health issues, financial issues, family issues, all kinds of things. And we need to get perspective, first of all. It could always be worse, right? Generally speaking, we look across the world, and Christians today, in today's times, thrown in prison, murdered for their faith, beaten, all kinds of stuff. And, at times, especially in Western culture, United States of America, I love the United States, I love America, I love it, love it, love it. But we can get this materialistic attitude that, like, if everything's not going terrific for me, I don't get that big screen that I wanted, oh man, that second car that I really, was hoping to get, didn't pan out, didn't get the raise on the job so I could redo my kitchen this year. This kind of stuff is just redonkulous. But even when we do go through really legitimate things, hardships, people hurting us, family turning their back on us because of maybe spiritual decisions that we've made, health issues that are not our fault, just genetic things that happen, we still need to make sure that we have an attitude that says, well, this is not going to affect my walk with God. I'm not going to turn away, like Job, right? I mean, he went through a lot of stuff, and if you read Job, you find that he got pretty testy, but he never got to the point where he was going to deny God. He never got to the point where he was going to, throw his fist up in God's face and say, I give up, even though his own wife encouraged him to do so. That's the kind of attitude we have to have. Like David, when David sinned and paid the punishment, he literally went into the house of God to worship. Why? Because he understood something that's vitally important, which is the second point I want to make here. Yeah, we need grit. Yeah, we need perspective. We need that I won't turn back attitude. But we also need to understand that much of the time, the problems that we face, if we rewind the reel back a little bit, they're because of choices that we've made. A lot of times the financial strain that people are in, it's because of choices. Now, well, somebody took advantage of me, but you still made that choice, right? You made a choice to go with what this salesperson is selling you, right? I grew up in a home that, we didn't have the same kind of opportunities that maybe this wealthy person over here had. True, but many of the, like, say, Deca millionaires, right, 10 million and above, what's that famous, the name of the book is, I think, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Millionaire Mind, Millionaire Next Door. I think the same guy did all those books, but it goes into analysis and stuff, and most of those people did not come from wealth. Most of them just worked hard, earned a living, made good choices, learned from mistakes. And so many of the people financially that are set, they didn't come from some vast inheritance or winning the lotto. They learned how to make good choices. Many of the family issues and problems that we have in our marriage, for instance. Maybe I married somebody, I wasn't in church, I married for the wrong reasons, I married for money, or I married for, just whatever, right? It wasn't truly what should have been. The base or the foundation wasn't what it should have been. Well, thankfully, it's not an actual house. You can redo the foundation. You can do a redo on that. You can get some books, go to counseling, start making choices now The difficult thing is sometimes we don't want to make those choices. We'd rather just blame, past circumstances, not make the choices. Raising kids, same thing. Many of the health issues that we run into, like I said, there are genetic things, but a lot of times it's, I don't want to alter my diet. Even genetic things, sometimes you have a predisposition to such and such, right? And there's a certain food that causes problems with such and such. And so, whereas other people can have that food, right? You can't because you have a genetic disorder or genetic issue. Do you just say, well, hey, that's just the way it is. Thank goodness we know that through modern medical science or whatever, and I can avoid that food or that drink or whatever. Do we do that, or do we just pop a pill and say, well, I don't care, I want to do it anyway? That's, again, a choice. And so our choices impact our life. I want that car that I really can't afford. Now I have to work 2 jobs. I want to live in that neighborhood that I can't afford. I have to work those extra hours, work on the weekend, blah, blah, blah. Now I don't have time for prayer, don't have time for connection, don't have time for a walk with God. Well, do you not have time? Let's rewind it. What's the choices that you were making? That's how this stuff ties in. Our choices can impact how difficult it is for us to get a I won't turn back in our spirit. And so, we should have the I won't turn back, have the grit, have the perspective, core, right? But then we should make choices around that core, barriers that we put up, things that we say, I will not partake of this, or I will do this, I will sacrifice here because it's going to be better for me in the long run. Then we will be able to be both stronger Christians, and it will not be quite as difficult when we say I won't turn back, because at least the enemy can't get a foothold in a bunch of areas that we've left the door wide open. So that's in a nutshell what we talked about on Sunday. We also very much focused on the fact that we are not in this alone. We are here with brothers and sisters in Christ. We are here with the God of our salvation to help us. We should lean on these resources. We should not feel like we have to do it alone. Isolation is a huge tactic of the enemy that we should know about, and we should not fall prey to. We are here with you. We are here for marital counseling, here for financial counseling, obviously here for all of the spiritual counseling and help that we could possibly afford. So avail yourself. I must avail myself of these resources that God has provided. We have to stay connected, stay in prayer, stay in the Word, stay strong, and never, 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 in the words of Winston Churchill, never give up. Love you guys. Be blessed. Have an awesome rest of the week.